Hello guys, welcome to the Online Student. Today we're going to be looking at linear matrix operations. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to add up matrices, how to subtract matrices, and how to multiply a matrix with a number. Let's start off by adding up matrices. Let's say we want to add up this ABCD matrix with this EFGH matrix. The method for this is quite easy. You just take each corresponding element and you add it up. So let's say we have this A element. It's on the first row and the first column. We add it up with the element on the first row and the first column of the second matrix, which in this case is E. So in the resulting matrix, the element on the first row and the first column is A plus E. Same thing for the other elements. Let's say this first row and the second column, which is B. We add it up with the corresponding element on the first row and the second column, in this case F. So in a resulting matrix on the first row and the second column is B plus F. But there is a condition. For adding up matrices, the matrices must have the same dimensions. Let's have a look at our first example. The first matrix has 2 rows and 2 columns, so it's a 2 by 2 matrix. Our second matrix has 2 rows and 2 columns as well, so it's a 2 by 2 matrix. The dimensions are the same, so you can add these matrices up. Now, let's have a look at another example. Our first matrix has 2 rows and 2 columns, so it's a 2 by 2 matrix. But our second matrix has 3 rows and 2 columns, so obviously the dimensions are not the same, so you cannot add up these matrices. Okay, let's try an exercise. We need to add up these 2 matrices. We can see that both matrices have 3 rows, 3 columns, so they're both a 3 by 3 matrix, so our condition is met and we can add these up. To add these up, we just add up each corresponding element. So let's say in this first matrix, our element on the first row and the first column is 7. On our second matrix, the element on the first row and this first column is 1. So we add these up. The same for all the rest. So let's say our second row, first column is 2. Now our second row, first column on the second matrix is 16. So we add up 2 plus 16. Of course, we need to simplify this, so 7 plus 1 equals 8, 2 plus 16 equals 18, and so on and so on. Quite easy. The second exercise is a bit more difficult. We have to add up these matrices, but we see that we have negative numbers. Okay, let's just do the same. So the element on our first row, first column of the first matrix is 0. We have to add it up with the corresponding element of the second matrix. The element on the first row and the first column is 10. So we just add up these numbers, 0 to plus 10, which is equal to 10, of course. Now let's try the second element. The element on the first row, second column is minus 15. The element of the second matrix of the first row, second column is 6. So we add up minus 15 plus 6, which is equal to minus 9. Another example here, on our third row and our second column is minus 8. We add it up with the corresponding element, so the third row, second column of the second matrix is minus 4. So we add these up. Minus 8 plus minus 4 is equal to minus 12. It's just the same, but you can have negative numbers. Now let's try to subtract matrices. The method is quite similar. The only difference is that you do not add up each corresponding element, but you subtract each corresponding element. So let's say the element on the first row, first column, which is A, we subtract it with the element on the first column, first row, which is E. So in our resulting matrix, the element on our first row, first column is A minus E. The same for all the rest. But there is a condition once again. Let's say we want to subtract this matrix with this matrix. We see that this matrix has 2 rows and 2 columns, so it's a 2 by 2 matrix. But the second matrix has 3 rows and 2 columns, so The dimensions are not the same, so you cannot subtract these matrices. Let's try an exercise. We have to subtract this second matrix from our first matrix. The method is similar, so we take the element on our first row, first column, which is 10, and we subtract it with the element of our first row, first column of our second matrix, which is minus 14 in this case. So in our resulting matrix, this is equal to 10 minus 14, which is 24. Another example, minus 8, we subtract it with our corresponding element, which is 4. So we have minus 8 minus 4, which of course is minus 12. The method is really similar and quite easy. Lastly, let's learn how to multiply a matrix with a number. Let's say we want to multiply this BCDE matrix with A. You just multiply every element with A. So we multiply B with A, C with A, D with A, and E with A, and this is our solution. Let's try an exercise. We need to multiply this 3 by 3 matrix by 3. So we just multiply each element by 3. So we have 3 times 10, 3 times 9, 3 times minus 11, and so on and so on. Of course, we can simplify this. So we have 3 times 10, which is 30, 3 times 9, which is 27, 3 times minus 11, which is minus 33, and so on and so on. Alright, this brings us to the end. If you enjoyed or you learned anything, please leave a like and consider to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.